Hello YouTube, it's DasGregor, and welcome back to part 4 of Minecraft 101, Basic Mod Pack Creation, Minecraft and Linux, etc. using Gentoo. In the last episode, we put in all the basic mods that I think you need just to run Minecraft at the bare bones level so that you can have a modded Minecraft environment with some of the niceties in a mod pack. Today we're going to talk about maps. Now there are 2 or 3 different map mods out there. I'm only going to discuss 2 of them. So, without further ado, let's look at our MCF mod list. And the 2 I'm going to look at are Journey Map, right here. It just requires Forge, and it's a client-side map. With this one, you can actually set it up so that you can see a web interface on your local network of your current location and have it actually work with your iPad or web browser. I believe it may also work in an Android. This will show you things that are on the screen, such as the entities, such as animals, bad mobs, and pets that you might have if there are pets in your mod pack. It allows for cave maps and moon maps and so forth, but it also can be quite bloated. And when I say bloated, I mean that sometimes there can be so much stuff on your screen if there's a lot of stuff going, if there's a lot of people around you, a lot of mobs, whether they're good or bad, etc., that it can really clutter things, and it's difficult sometimes to muddle through that. Of course, in the inventory, or the configurations, I should say, you can disable some of those things and make it so that you're only seeing exactly what you want to see. And that, by the way, is made by TechBrew. The other map that I like to use, because it's a little bit easier, less bloated, very lightweight, is Opus. And this doesn't really say it's a map. It's made by Professor Mobius and a Minecraft server profiler, but the map's built in, which is very nice. And I've often thought that being allowed to find chunks to remove tile entities that are slowing down the server might be something well worthwhile. So this is the one we're going to install today. Now, as I've said in the past, if you see that there are requirements, dependencies for this it will list it, as we see here. Forge is required, which we have. This is server side, which will work on the server end, but it will also work on the client end. And the Mobius core. So let's go ahead and click on Opus to bring up the web page. Of course, once it'll show you all the different features, talk about the different information, we can scroll down till we get to the download area and get the latest download right here. And since we also need the Mobius core, we're going to go ahead and right click, if I can get it highlighted, and choose to open a new link. And it's going to take us to CurseForge, when I say curse, but it's just curse up here. But CurseForge is, like I said in the last one, a great place to also find different mods that are available and to get them downloaded. And once we're, of course, here, we should be able to go to the files location, or let's see, this one actually says for Minecraft 1.710, here is the jar, so let's download that file. I've changed it so I don't have to it automatically downloads the download directory, so that we can now just go into Minecraft, modpacks, DasMod tutorial, into our mods, and we're going to save Opus right here. Save that, and it doesn't ask us if we want to keep it or not now. And you can see that I still haven't cleared out that stuff, so let's get rid of that for now. Let's go back over to here, and we need, of course, the Mobius core. So let's open that in a new link, which is going to bring us to CurseForge as well. And we need to make sure that we're running 1.710. So there's the newest one. So let's download that file. And let's go ahead and save it to our mods location. Minimize. Let's start Minecraft. Now, one thing that you'll want to look at when installing lots of mods is you don't want to install 15, 20, 30 mods at one time and then start it up and then it crashes, because there might be some conflicts, there might be some issues with some config files, and it's best to do a couple mods at a time so that you know those mods are working properly. And now that we have this set up, we're going to go into DOS mod tutorial, play. And we should show that we now have 9 mods listed when we get to the title screen. We'll let that kind of go by. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for a moment while we wait for that to come up. Okay, we have everything loaded, and I see that it says we have 10 mods loaded. Well, that's interesting because by my count we only added 2. So let's take a quick look at the mod section here. Got the Minecraft Coder Pack, or MCP, Forge Mod Loader, Minecraft Forge, Code Chicken Core, the Mobius Core, not enough items, Inventory Tweaks, Map Writer, and Opus. So Opus pulled in Map Writer, which gives us our map, which is why we have 10. Always good to keep track to see. I mean, see here, we've only just barely put a few in, and we're already up to 10 mods. We go single player, DOS mod tutorial, play selected world. And that will load our world. It shouldn't take too much time because we've already pretty much set up as much as we needed to get set up in the last part 3. It should come up any second. That's a good sign. We're going to hit F11 to maximize our screen, and now you see that there is a map being painted in the upper right corner of the screen. Now with Opus, there are a few keys that you can set so that you can work with it, but the easiest thing to do is go to Options and Controls, and if we look at this, we should be able to find the map writer area. Inventory tweaks is one thing that we needed to look at last episode, which I'm going to go through a little bit today if we make ourselves a chest. But here we have our items that do things such as creating waypoints, being able to teleport, etc. And the zoom in, prior, next, new waypoint is insert, next map mode is in, a next waypoint is common. Now I like to make the waypoints, if I want to add waypoints and that sort of thing, then I like to have it being the insert key. And then of course the teleport to a waypoint, I like to make that the T key, but it looks like we are using T somewhere else. So when it turns red, that means that we have a conflict. That's open chat. Yeah, we will leave the teleport to a waypoint to be delete instead on the numpad area, since it's using prior, next, insert, and most of those others. The map GUI is M, and underground mode is U for when you're in caves. We're just going to go through a little bit of this other stuff. You'll see some of the other miscellaneous things. You can change, of course, all of these, and if you're having conflicts, because some mod packs or mods will have multiple mods that want to use the same key to do things, and you have to change them. This is where you're going to go to fix that, to create the new key bindings. Done, done. Back to game. And if we hit M, we can zoom into the larger map. You can see I'm on a small island. It looks like there are a chain of islands that if we keep going south, we might be able to get to the mainland. You can see up here in the options and the help that space for the next marker group, delete to delete a marker, cycle through the markers, etc., etc., T to teleport, and different areas, U of course for underground. If we hit, we are right now at our spawn location right here, and by the way, if any of you guys are curious, F5 changes your point of view, and there I am the super Linux penguin, And this is my guy. Look at me. Yes. Now, if any of you guys are really good pixel creators, I would love to put a Gentoo emblem on the front of there instead of the little Super Tux guy. But right now, I am what I call the Linux Penguin in his super outfit, holding his axe to chop wood. F5 will then put us back to our first person point of view. And we want to create a waypoint because this is pretty much our spawn area. So let's hit that. We're going to create this. We're going to say this is spawn. Since this is the spawn island, I'm just going to leave the marker. You can name these anything you want. I leave it group because that's the default. That's your X, Y, and Z. And now if we kind of move away from that area, you will see there is a little black square that marks where you set that. That is so useful to be able to find yourself when you go a-wandering. And right now, we are going to go a-wandering because I doubt we're going to stay on this island. So let's chop our little guy there, and let's move off. As you'll notice here, we can see that there's sand, there's dirt, there's clay. Now eventually when I get to talking to about some more advanced mods, such as possibly putting in Tinker's Construct, you're going to want clay and sand and gravel and things like that to be able to make tools and be able to do better Minecrafting. Now I'm hitting the A button, which is, I believe that's equivalent to the space or the jump to let me swim through that water. And I'm sure hoping as we look, it looks like that is the mainland up here. So we're going to wander off. And as you see, you can see exactly where your map was. Oh, and there's some sheep. Now sheep are really good because if you get 3 sheep with free wool, then you can create yourself a bed and you can sleep through the night. So when the zombies and the creepers and the skeletons come after you, you can go ahead and sleep it away and just call it a nightmare. So we're going to get our sword here and we're going to creep up on him. And we're going to go ooga ooga booga and get him. So, oh, how lucky is that? How lucky is that? 3 sheep. I'm sorry. I need your wool. Now later when you get iron, you can make yourself some shears and you can just shear these guys. But right now, you can't. You just have to hit them until you get their wool. Now a really great mod is Pam's Harvest Craft. It will give you mutton from the sheep. And it's already getting nighttime. So let's take a look here. We've got 5 planks. Let's take our crafting table. Let's set it up here. Maybe get down there. There we go. And we want to craft a bed. Now if you don't know how to craft a bed, because we have any eye, we can say bed. How do you craft it? 3 planks, that. I've got that. Boom. Bed. And now, before the googlies come out, we're actually in pretend, we're in safe mode, so we're cool. We're cool. But we can go to sleep now. And that's what you'd want to do. Sleep through the night. No googlies will get you. Now, one thing I see as a mistake that a lot of Minecrafters do is they break their bed. Now in the beginning, I suppose when you don't have a lot of sheep, you're going to have to do that. But if you break your bed, right now I've kind of reset my spawn point to this spot. But if I break this, it's going to reset it back to spawn. Since we're not worried about the bad guys right now, I'm going to do that because I don't want to stay here. Eventually though, you'll want to put a mod that'll give you a better bed when you're traveling cold. Well, it's a backpack. You can sleep under the stars. And then you can put your bed in your house area and you'd be able to sleep under the stars and be happy. And then every time you got home, your spawn would still be at your home wherever you decide your home to be. Now, vanilla mod with the way we have it has almost nothing new in this world. But now that we've traveled a little ways, we need some chicken because we need to eat. So we're gonna, sorry guy, woohoo, chicken, and we should have gotten a feather somewhere. 2 feathers. All right, let's kill another chicken. 4 feathers. So, Now that we've killed a couple chickens, I'm only really doing this to get some map work. So let's hit the N button. The N button, of course, allows us to see a bigger map area. Takes up more space. We can turn off the map if we don't want it. And we can bring it back to the right side. M, of course, brings us to the main part, and we can see, yes, this looks like a big mainland area, which is much better, and we look like we're in a forested area. Very handy to have. And as you remember, the last episode, we were getting some really bad frame rate because the world was being generated. And as you see now, we're doing much better. I'm moving all around, no lag, not, jumping up and down, woohoo. What's that sheep doing in the tree? I really think sometimes that they ought to make it so that you don't stand on leaves, that you fall through them. Because it doesn't make sense when you're looking at trees and see pigs and cows and sheep, and sometimes chickens, climbing on top of trees. But anyway, if we hit F3, we can see that we have moved into a forest biome. You can see where we are with X, Y, and Z, which when you don't have a map is very important to always maintain. And you can see that we're getting about 23, well, when we're looking at this, we're getting about 15, 13 frames, 10 frames. Not very good, 8 frames. Now, I don't have a very good graphics card, and that makes a big difference, I think. I got plenty of RAM, but just not a very good graphics card. If we should stare at the ceiling, though, it shoots up suddenly to 30 frames, 36 frames, but you're not going to walk around looking at the sky. Anyway, yeah, we've got some oak, we've got some birch. This is a great place to try to chop down stuff and go forward. But I just wanted to talk about the map mod there real quick, give you a quick or a review on that to grab it. Now, real quick, I also want to talk to you about if you want to try different mods out. Let me see here. Let's quit the game. Let's see where we are in this video. We are at 11 minutes. I've got a few minutes. All right. Let's minimize this. Now, say for instance you wanted to go ahead and try out the other mod. So let's close these for now, and let's go back over to JourneyMap. And we don't have any extra dependencies, so we'll just click on it. And this will tell us a little bit about it. We can go to the download install section. We want 1.710 version, so we want map 510. So I like to get the unlimited version. I believe the fair play one hides different things such as players and so forth. So we're going to put this into our mods directory. Now some of you might say, whoa, wait a minute, hold on there. You're going to have a conflict. You got 2 mods that do the same thing. You're right, we do. We need to do something about that before we start up our mod pack. So this is where we go into modpacks, DasMod tutorial, mod section. And this is a very important directory that I have found to create. Call it disabled. Because while you're working with different mods, you will find that one is giving you trouble. I crashed my world the other day in one of my big mod packs with 123 different mods. How in the world are you going to figure out which mod it is that's giving you trouble? Well, sometimes you have to go one by one, but it's good to be able to have a location where something is disabled. Now, we don't want to use Opus, and we don't want to use Mobius Core for right now. So we're going to cut these from here, and I did not mean to do that. So highlight these again, and cut, and go into disabled, and paste them into disabled. Now we have the code chicken, the inventory tweaks, the journey map, the not enough items, and Wayla. Now we will start up Minecraft again, and it will not look at Opus or the Mobius Core. It should, however, see journey maps. Now, if we back out of this real quick and go to configs, you will see we have some more config files that have been created. Code chicken core, forged chunks, of course we saw those, inventory tweaks, rules, the map writer configuration file for Opus, the map writer for Opus, all those are for Opus issues, splash properties for Forge, and Wayla so far. And we should get a forged directory that is either created in here, or if we back out of this, we will see we now have, or should have, pretty soon, something for the map that we've loaded. Let's check to see what that is doing. There it goes. Journey Map. We have a folder for Journey Map. That's where it's going to store its information, its logs, its config files, etc. A little bit different place than in the config, but you always have to just look for it. Now that we have that, it shows we have 8 mods. You say, hey, wait a minute, we removed 2 and added 1, but we have only 1 loaded now instead of 3. That's because it also removed that map writer mod. And if we look at the mods here, we'll see there is our forge stuff, our code chicken chunks, not enough, inventory tweaks, Journey Map, and Wayla. Now if we start single player mode, start it up. It shouldn't take too long. Let's try to make this thing full screen. And once it loads, we should see a new map. Now, of course, because what I did, I lost my waypoint for spawn. But that's okay. We can get over it for now. Because eventually when you choose which mod you want to use for a specific function, you're not going to need the other one anyway. So now we say here, inventory tweaks configurations loaders. Now if you remember from the last one, inventory tweaks had some configuration files it needed to create. Now that says Journey Map should be J. So we hit J for the first time, and we see, my goodness, that's so much more advanced. There's a lot of stuff to go through. We can see that there's some mini map preset number 1s, and two presets that we can choose from. The web map, waypoints, waypoint beacons. We can do all kinds of stuff with this. And I do like this one a lot because it has a lot of extra features. Now if you need to go in there, of course you can go into the options anytime if you need to get back in there. That first time it just brings it to us. And then we can get out of this, and we see that there's, just like that last one, the map is there. So that's how you can change the options for a mod and change and be able to disable one and add another to try it out. You'll see too that there are a lot more items on that map, and I'm not sure how on this one. Of course you'd have to go into here and you'd have to go into the options and figure out what you do to blow it up so you can see it better, and you can change the size of different things in there. A lot of different options that you can choose from for that to make it easier for you. You can even turn off, like show villagers. I don't care about the villagers. I don't care about pets. But show me animals, show me the mobs, the bad guys. Those two I care about. Here's waypoints that you can turn on and off. You can also go there and you can create your new waypoint and choose your options of how they're going to look. A lot of different features to go through utilizing this journey map versus Opus. Each one have their pros and cons, and it's just up to you to decide which one you like to use the most. I don't really care for the square grid, but I'm sure there's a way to get rid of that. But I do like the fact if I'm looking for sheep, I can see that, oh, there's a sheep right there. I'm almost right on top of it. Or if you're looking for a specific mob, such as an Enderman, because you need to go fight the Enderman to get their Ender Pearls, it's a lot easier to search for specific ones on your journey map and find where they're at. Very nice. Plus, I kind of like the way waypoints are. So, for instance, if you do a waypoint here, journey map, let's do waypoint. Let's create a new one, and we're going to call this forest, just because we can actually choose the color we want to use. Move it around. You know, since it's forest, let's do the green. You can choose random color for it. Just choose something. I like to use a brighter color so it's easier to see, and then you can go ahead and save it, and we see that it's there. Now the cool thing about this is, if we close out of this and get back into here, we're going to have a beacon. Now say you go far, far away and you look and go, oh, I can see where that waypoint is. And it's not just on the map, but it's also a GUI interface that I can actually see visibly way up in the sky, like you're shooting a flashlight. Now you get a lot of those and you don't really care for them, so you can still go into it and edit those things, and you can say, okay, well, turn that off. You turn it off and the beacon goes away, so you don't see all that stuff. So you don't have to have it on there. But if you go back to your map and look, you should still be able to see that there is a waypoint somewhere on there. And you can also choose this, for instance, and tell it to teleport to it. And that is very useful as well. You can see there it says forest. I guess if you turn it off, you don't see it on your point either. But great tool to have. Another option, as I said, to Opus. But Opus is a lot lighter, easier to install for, say, a server or a location that doesn't have the kind of resources that this has. I won't go into the whole web thing, but it is pretty cool that you can turn on the web interface and then be able to see a map. So if you had dual screens, or if you had your Android device, tablet, or iPad or something like that there, you can actually look at your map as you're going and have a full-blown version of it wandering right there. Very nice feature. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. So I'm going to do like all those fancy Minecraft people that I wish I could be, but I'm not. I'm just a Gentoo Linux nerd. So if it's morning, evening, noon, or night, whatever you're having, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for watching part 4 of the tutorial talking about maps, specifically Opus and Journey Map. Please join me next time when I decide what I'm going to do next, and have a great one. Bye, guys.